Guys, today we're covering section 8.4, which is the area of the shaded region. Well, some steps that we need to follow in order to do this is you first find the area of the entire region. And then second, you find the area of the unshaded region. And then we subtract the area of the unshaded region from the entire region. Okay, so let's work some examples. Okay, or sometimes I'll think about this as you do the big minus the small, because obviously the bigger shape is going to be the one where the shaded region is, or with the entire thing. Okay, so when we're looking at number one, okay, well, my two shapes are, I have, because these two numbers are the same, this is a square, so I'm going to be doing the square minus the circle. Okay, well, the first thing I do is I write down what my formulas are for each shape. So to find the area of the square, that's A equals S squared. For a circle, it's pi r squared. And we're subtracting these two. My next step is where I plug in my numbers. Okay, but wait a minute. When I'm thinking about this, I've got to think about, well, if all the way across is 28, then that means all the way across here is 28, which means from the center, so that means that my diameter is 28. Well, when it comes to the circle, I don't need the diameter. I need the radius, which is the distance from here to here. Well, if the diameter is 28, that means my radius is going to be 14, because I do 28 divided by 2, which gives me my radius, and then the 28 is my side length. So now we plug and chug, we plug the numbers in. So I'm going to have 28 squared, which is the same as 28 times 28. And then I have, so we get to use the handy dandy calculator. I can find the area of the square first. I'm going to do 28 times 28, which gives me 784 minus, now I've got to find the circle. So remember, the radius is 14. So we have pi times 14 squared, which is the same as pi times 14 times 14, which is going to give me, 14 is 196. Remember, for pi, we use 3.14. So I'm plugging in, I'm using 3.14 for pi. So I do 196 times 3.14, and that gives me 615.44. So I come over here, that's the area of the circle. So I have minus 615.44. I have to do this subtraction, which I can do in the calculator. 784 minus 615.44, enter. And we end up with 168.56, and my units are meters squared. So this is, because I'm looking for the area of the shaded region, and we want to make sure that we round to the nearest 10th. Well, that's not rounded to the nearest 10th at the moment, is it? So I'm not going to write my units yet, because I need to round this to 168.6 meters squared. This is the shaded region. This is the area for the shaded region. Okay, next example. All right, we're going to skip down to number 3. And we're going to see what shapes make this up. Well, when I look at it, I've got a rectangle. That's the big one, or the entire figure. And then I have a circle. But how many circles? There are 2 circles, and they are actually the same because they touch the edge. Okay, so now when I'm looking at this, okay, so I've got to do some thinking here. It's 17 all the way across, correct? So that means all the way across here is 17. Well, that means it's also 17 this way. So this is going to be 17, correct? So that means that my diameter is equal to 17. In order to figure out my radius, I have to do half of that, which is 8.5. So yes, I needed to find my radius, but the other reason that I needed to find this is I don't know what this dimension is right here. But if I know that my diameter is 17, so that means this is 17 and this is 17. So therefore I can add those together and I get a total of 34. Now I have all of the dimensions that I need. And remember, we're doing the rectangle minus the 2 circles. Here we go. Now that I have all of my numbers, we plug and chug. So we're going to write our formulas, and here we go. So to find the area of a rectangle, it's length times width, or base times height. And then we have the area of a circle. So we subtract for the area of a circle, which is pi r squared. But remember, there's 2 of those. But I won't multiply by the 2 until the very end for that. Here we go. So now we plug them in. So I'm going to have 17 times 34, which is 238. Now over here, we've got pi times, now remember we found our radius over here, pi times 8.5 squared. So that's going to give me pi times 5 times 8.5, which is 72.25. So I'm now doing 3.14 times 72.25. Which gives me 226.865. That's the area for one circle. Remember, we have 2 circles, so I now have to multiply that times 2, which gives me 453.73. So now I must have mistyped something up here. Yeah, I did 7 times. This is supposed to be 17. 17 times 34, which is 500. This is supposed to be 578. And my clue was I realized this is bigger, so I knew I must have typed something in wrong. Minus 453.73, enter. And we get that the shaded region is 124. I have 124.27, but remember, we're rounding to the 10th. So this is 124.3 yards squared. That is the shaded region. Okay, one more example. Okay, so on the back, on the next page, we're going to look at number 7. Okay, when we're looking at number 7, okay, we have the big figure. Now, that big figure, if I look at it, okay, it can be broken up into 2 parallelograms. Okay, so I'm going to take this all the way down. Okay, so the big figure, the entire figure is the 2 parallelograms. Okay, it is 2 parallelograms minus the triangle. Okay, now on the dimensions, we got to figure out what are the dimensions of this parallelogram. Well, it's 18 all the way across. Okay, and this is divided in half. So therefore, the distance from here to here, which this is the height of the parallelogram because it makes the right angle, that height is going to equal 9. So this is 9 and this is 16. This is the base of the parallelogram. Now we have the triangle. Well, the triangle is all the way across, so that's going to be 18. And then the height of the triangle, it tells me right here, which is 11. Now that I have all of my dimensions, I'll write my formulas and we solve. So I have base times height, and this is 0.5 base times height. And we're subtracting the 2. And I actually have 2 of these. Here we go. So we plug in our numbers. So I have 2 times 9 times 16, which that can be 18 times 16, which is 288. Okay, over here we have 0.5 times 18 times 11. So that's going to give me 9 times 11, which is 99. And then I'm subtracting those 2. Well, when I subtract 288 minus 99, that gives me 189 meters squared. And that is what the shaded region is. And there you go. You'll finish the notes and complete the homework assignment. Have a great day.